Hello, everyone. Hope you're all doing well. Atif says, hello, Mehran. Is there a live stream? What do you think? What do you think this is? Dead stream? Of course it's a live stream. I'm here, you're here, and it's all happening at this moment. And Mariana says, hello, Mehran. Hello, Mariana, dear. Atif says, again, Atif says, hi. Oh, that was hello. This is hi. Okay. Oh, you're saying hi to Mariana. Oh, you cheeky you. Okay. All right. And Steven says hello, Mariana. Hello, Steven. Long time no talk. And Cesar Gavito Rios says, hello, sir. Your video have helped me a lot lately. Well, I'm delighted to hear that, dear. And this is what the videos are there for. And I've got a surprise for you guys. I just finished doing the final little adjustments for uploading, having uploaded, but I had to put the end screens and so on. Made a 3-part video for you guys, which is a totally different tangent. It really needs your attention and understanding what I'm talking about, because you become more clear about the relationship between brain, thoughts, intrusive thoughts, and you. And I'm determined to make this apparatus here so clear for you that you would not be bamboozled by it anytime anymore. And anytime any kind of intrusive thought shows up in your head, you would know enough about it to know that this simply is irrelevant, means nothing. We have been duped to think that what the brain conjures up and shows in the screen of our head, it must have some kind of a deity or meaning or mandate, or that takes priority over the existence of me, and the brain becomes the master and I become the slave, which this has to be corrected, because there is no brain if there is no you, and there is always you first as the boss to monitor everything else that is your employee, including your kidneys, including your liver, including your brain, that they are working for you, not that they have certain knowledge or intelligence over you. You're the one who oversee all the productions of these things, all the work and functions that these apparatuses do. And you're the one who decides if they are full of shit or if they're any use to them. And you're the one who clears out the garbage out of your way, and in this case, out of your mind. So hopefully you guys will enjoy it when I upload it. I decided to have a live stream tonight. First of all, it just feels like it, a live stream evening. Secondly, I guess I'm simply hopeful that I can be of any positive effects and change in your lives by helping you to understand things that I have tried to understand and explore and research. And if that will help you to have a better quality of life, that pleases me. That makes me very happy. And actually, that is the way it is. It makes me very happy to know that you guys, not you guys, everybody out there who could use it, and everybody could use it, would have less pain in every way, shape, or form. And if I can have something to do with it, it really makes me happy. Because I know pain is bad. And we've all suffered for it. And there's no reason for anyone suffer any one more minute. Especially about things that the brain conjures up. And we all try to have a healthy mind. And mental health is one of the most important things in life. And many of us neglect it and don't understand that just as we take care of our bodies and put it in shape, make it, work it out and make sure it's in shape and keep our health, physical health, we also must have maintenance program and understanding through knowledge and research and explorations how this thing works and how we can get the garbage out of it and how we can clean it up and how we can strengthen it, how we can, through meditation, through mindfulness, through understanding how it functions and malfunctions, so we will not be fooled by something that is actually working for us rather than we ending up working for it and think that it is us and us we are secondary to it. That's the whole plan. Now, lately, we have been focusing on the sufferings of many of us human beings, regardless of your sexuality, but mainly it's been hitting heterosexuals, these thoughts of not being who they have always been. Heterosexuals have been hit with thoughts of homosexuality, and if you're born homosexual, more power to you, that's who you are, and embrace it, enjoy it. You're equal to everybody else, and everybody knows that. We all know it. We are all in it together. We are all human beings before we are anything else. Color, religion, nationality, gender. We're all human beings to begin with. But in this particular case, heterosexuals are often hit with this glitch, and we've been discussing this suffering, and we've been trying to help, although even homosexual people have also suffered from such disorders of thinking that they are not what they've always thought they are. So it goes both ways, but more often heterosexuals are hit with the HOCD, the thoughts of homosexuality. And I want our brothers and sisters who are gay understand that when we are talking about sufferings of heterosexuals, that happens to be thoughts of homosexuality, that is not to say that we are having any homophobic thoughts or approach. You have to understand, we're all human beings and we suffer in different ways. And heterosexuals also suffer. And in this case, a thought of homosexuality in a heterosexual person is tremendously uncomfortable and tremendously painful and unwanted, uninvited, and it's a serious matter. So when we are talking about it, I don't want to hear any such nonsense of comments that, are you homophobic? Why? Heterosexuals are not human beings. We cannot talk about the suffering of heterosexuals. Nobody in this world is special, but everybody is. So if you want to imply that we cannot talk about problems and sufferings of heterosexual because it could offend somebody who is not heterosexual, well, that's unfortunate that you think that way. You should grow up and understand that before we have any gender, we are all human beings and we all suffer in the same way. So don't come back and make such stupid comments on this channel. This channel has been very, very cordial, balanced, and helping everybody of any gender. Many of my clients are actually gay, and many are heterosexuals. And I intend to help everyone however I can, but none of that nonsense should come on this channel. And if I hear that one more time, I will be strongly respond to that, and I will make sure that nobody, heterosexual, homosexual, or whatsoever, would not try to manipulate this channel in order to gag, so we will not help other human beings regardless of their gender, color, religion, and creed, because we are all in it together and we're all trying to make sure the suffering stops, no matter how it begins. All right. If you have any ulterior motive to be on this channel, please sign off. If you're here to create some kind of a label on this channel, sign off. This channel is for everybody, and we discuss things that could help people and things that are suffering, making people suffer, and therefore refrain from all that kind of nonsense. Lately, I had one, and this been very uncomfortable and displeasing. So I want that stopped. Remember, nobody is more special than the other one, and I don't care what your gender is. You are judged by the effects that you will have on the society, how positively you affect your environment, your society, and the community you live in, and help the world in general to become a better place for all of us. Not because you're heterosexual or not because you're gay or homosexual that you feel you're special. Everybody is special, and everybody can get the trophy of being the best version of himself or herself if you help yourself, your loved ones, the community you live in, and help this community, this world, to be a better place than constantly trying to work against each other and trying to make sure that one is better than the other one. We're only better if you're really helping the world in general to be a better place for all of us. So that's the end of that. All right, let's see what we have here. And if anyone disagrees with what I just said, just put a number 2. And if you agree, put 1. Anybody who agrees with what I just said in here about the mandate of this channel and how this channel has been operated and his intentions, and agree with what I said, push 1. Just put 1. I want to see all of that. Do that till I have some tea. Please, everybody, express your view. 1, if you agree with me, and 2, if you don't. There are 9 people here. I gotta see 9 response here. The reason I mention that, because I want to shut down any nonsense that wants to gag a channel who's trying to help all sorts of people, all equally, with love and care, and not noticing that such suffering for heterosexual is as serious as any other suffering for any other gender. It's unfair. And I want to make sure that we all understand. Again, we're all in it together. We're all human beings before anything else. Therefore, we all have the right to deal with our sufferings and understand our psyche better. Especially that this is a common thing about all genders. It's not just about, when heterosexuals are hit by this. Other genders are hit by this as well. And it's uncomfortable for everybody equally. All right. Thank you for your response. I can see there's no 2s, they're all 1s. Now, let's go and see what we have here. By the way, all right, so let's go from the beginning here. Let me just, 1 second, let me just open that window a little bit more. All right. Oh my goodness. Without any announcement, we've got lots of people here tonight. So we have Caesar says, yeah, your videos have been helping me lately a lot. Thank you for that. Steven says, Stephen Mail 40 Los Angeles. Thank you for that. McLovin. That comes from the movie. Oh God. I know that movie. What was it? I don't remember, but I know the scenes. The fake ID McLovin. Yeah, I know that. So Ash says, Mehran, it's tea o'clock. Yes, it is. Good to see you again. Good to see you, Ash. I hope that you've been reading the stuff that I've been sending you as a response to your comments. I hope it's been helpful. You need to relax. You'll be fine. Don't lose hope. I understand how difficult and serious and unpleasant this suffering HOCD is, and I am determined to help everyone as much as I can. Right now we have spoken about this topic maybe about 100 videos in the past 6 months. We have 2 great playlists, and I really mean that. Great. It's not being boasting about it, but lots of thoughts and effort and love has gone through it to help people to know the mechanism of this whole HOCD thing, and to be more aware of the association of the feelings and the thoughts and so on that appears. So we have 2 playlists. One is called Intrusive, Transient, OCD, HOCD, Negative Thoughts, which is mostly talking about detailed explanation of the connection and association of the words and feelings, and why you feel inferior, why you feel this way, why you think you got to kiss another guy, and all these things explained in detail in roots of it, from security, psychological security, physical security, and things, and school, and all these things that affects everyone's psyche one way or another. And then we have the other playlist, Intrusive, similar name but different stuff in it, Intrusive, OCD, HOCD short videos. And I caution you, it's not really short videos, but mostly are short. There's some long ones in there too. But in that playlist, we only talk about the role of brain, thoughts, and you, and discussions about your psyche and understanding its function and malfunction, rather than the actuality of the association of the sexual connotation of things that comes, the thoughts brings to mind. So I really encourage you to watch that second playlist as well, because that's a world of knowledge that I don't think any of us can get it anywhere else, at least not to my knowledge. And these are all specifically created for you. I know the suffering, and I want to help you. I want to make sure you guys can help yourselves. If you have the knowledge and work it inwardly, you don't need anybody else to tell you much, but you will understand what I'm trying to say. And also I have the links of psychotherapists and psychologists and scientists, such as Dr. Schwartz, and the experience of Dr. Grable and her student at MIT with regards to the function of the brain and malfunction of the brain, and the association and connection between reward finding center, goal finding center, reward center, and habit center. So in regards to neuroscience of habits, I have links there, and the links of famous psychotherapists, clinical psychologists, such as Dr. Philipson, Dr. Jan Weiner, and researchers like Dr. Owens. And these are all links that I have below the description of all the videos in these 2 playlists. I encourage you to watch those and enlighten yourself, educate yourself. This could be your chance in a lifetime to learn, because of this challenge that you've come across, which is, let me put it at ease for you, it's total nonsense and bullshit. Don't worry about it, but it's there, it's annoying. And because of this challenge, this is your chance to explore this, to learn it from the masters, the psychologists, psychotherapists, or scientists, researchers, and the stuff that I have put together for you. Things that you would not have come across if you didn't have this disorder, this glitch, and you can master it and learn it, and through the knowledge of how this works and doesn't work, set you free and make you stronger to be able to help others if it comes to. It will make you stronger, don't worry. And Stephen says, I know we'll talk more soon, but what I realized was that all my thoughts were creating this false reality. And I believe our thoughts create a reality. No. Our thoughts is not reality, but you can be fooled to think it's reality if you believe in it. I just want to make sure you understand, because thought has no actuality. It doesn't even exist. It's an idea. It's an image. And it goes way back thousands and thousands of years, where images were the way of communication. Then now since 40,000 years ago, we learned how to speak and how to think. Thinking brings the images, and behind every image that comes to your mind, there is a thinking. And behind every thinking, in most cases, there's an image. These are the main ways of communication in the past. They were all pictorials. And when a picture comes in, instead of simply letting the picture play out and go about your business, you interpret it and you label it. In the old times, we had no ability to think or speak. So there were no data or dictionary to have a meaning for a word. But now that you see an image and there are labels to that image, for example, a thought of homosexuality comes into your mind, there's a label of being gay. That word has a meaning in dictionary, and you can't contest the meaning of the dictionary. And because you think the meaning cannot be contested, then you think the suggestion cannot be contested. And that fools you to fall into a rabbit hole of trying to make sense of it. You know you're not homosexual. Then why is this thought? Well, this thought means nothing. It's a thought. But when you label it, and the label, you cannot contest the meaning of the label, the word, then you get bamboozled that, it must mean something because the word means something. No, the word means something but doesn't relate to you. It's not relevant to you. You have to focus on that. And Stephen says, I know I'll discuss more with you, but happy to hear you live. Yeah, thank you. Happy to hear live in more ways than one. Actually, tonight is the first night that 65 years ago I became alive. So I'm alive in more ways than one tonight. Caesar says, Gavito Rios, Cesar Gavito Rios says, I would like to think that my OCD episode trained me for what was about to happen in my life. The breakup hurt pretty bad, but your OCD videos trained me to be stronger. Delighted to hear that. That's my boy. This has been the case for everybody who's been having to deal and manage the OCD subsets of any kind. Homosexual OCD, pedophile OCD, harm OCD, responsibility OCD, all kinds of subsets of OCD. They're all in the same category of OCD. And it should be treated as a malfunction of the signaling system of the brain. No other way. It's all OCD subsets. Caesar says, I know folks how it feels to go through intrusive thoughts, but they go away. Don't give up. For real, believe. For real, believe him. Ah, okay. Thank you. And Levy1 says, Hi, Mehran. Today has not been so good, but how are you today? Well, I'm here, and I made 3 very good videos last night for you guys, and I will upload it hopefully afterwards. Tonight perhaps is a live stream instead of tomorrow at 1 p.m. because I think I have a client that has an appointment with me tomorrow, and it's from some foreign land, and the timing could not be fixed, and she needs to talk to me, and I'm here for everybody, so I thought I would have to help because the timing couldn't be fixed in any other time, and that was the only time that we could get to it as quickly as possible. So I may have the live stream tomorrow at 3 or 3:30 p.m. or not at all. I will try, but you guys know that I like to talk, so in my in my Skype appointments, I may talk myself out, and so I would probably need some breather afterwards. But if I'm still alive, I would have a live stream tomorrow at 3:30 maybe, and then again another one at 9:30 tomorrow night for the other neck of the wood, India, Pakistan, Australia, Singapore, Philippines, Iran, and so on, different time zones. And Levi says, Hi, Mehran, today was okay. Yeah, I wonder why wasn't it good for you? Ah, Levi says super bad. Oh yeah, super bad. That's right. That was it. Thank you for that. See, I figured there's who was it? Who was McLovin? Yeah, super bad. That's right. Yeah, you thought I don't watch those stuff? No, I was young one day. I still am, by the way. All right. And Ash said, well said, Mehran. Ash says, Mehran, it's 2 o'clock. Yeah, good to see you again. Male 32 UK. And Ash says, well said, Mehran. Well said. The thing about, please don't label the channel and don't give me that nonsense of homophobic thing. Yeah, right. Yeah, I don't appreciate people who have ulterior motives, and that's unkind. And Ash says that's why if you're sure that you're dealing with what you're dealing with is HOCD, you'd be wise to speak to an OCD specialist and not an LGBTQ therapist. Yeah, of course, because when you have HOCD, that doesn't mean at all, has nothing to do with being homosexual. It's a glitch in the brain. And that same mechanism, same glitch hits gay people, homosexual people, or any other gender. It has nothing to do with who you are, what you've always been. It's just a thought that has got all its signaling system is malfunctioning, and it doesn't shut off the automatic gear that is supposed to shut off regardless of what your gender is. Whatever intrusive thoughts comes to your mind that is intrusive to you according to your gender, there is a mechanism called a nucleus in the middle of the brain. It's supposed to change that gear and shut off the intrusive thoughts that is coming from the orbital prefrontal cortex. And when it doesn't function well, then it makes you be confused. And it can happen to any gender. And it's always hitting you opposite of what you are. So in fact, if you're hit by thoughts of homosexuality, that means you're heterosexual, because it always hits you against opposite of what you are. And if you're homosexual and hits you with the thoughts of heterosexuality, that means you're homosexual, like as you've always been. So you don't have to worry about being changed, because nobody changes. Chromosomes don't change. This whole business of somebody started up saying someone turned gay is just biggest bullshit that anybody could hear. You don't change your gender. Whatever your gender is, that's what you're blessed with, and that's how it's going to be rest of your life. You can rest assured on that. If that was not the case, then tell me why. Tell me what. If you're heterosexual, or whatever your gender is, if you're homosexual, whatever your gender is, if you're supposedly turning gay, that means it's possible, right? So if it's possible to turn gay, then it's also possible, again, that chromosome to change to become heterosexual again. And then again, homosexual again. Then again, heterosexual, because if it can change, then it can change often. And it can also change in other genders. The homosexual person could be turned heterosexual. Well, we've never heard that, have we? We have hardly ever heard a homosexual person turned heterosexual. But we've heard it often when they say, oh, heterosexual guy turning gay. Well, nobody turns anything. Because if one can turn to the other, then the other one can turn to the other too. Well, we'd never hear that. So what is the agenda that is being portrayed as if someone can turn its gender to something else? You shouldn't buy into that. No matter what your gender is, you're blessed with whatever, however you've been born. That's how you're going to be forever. Don't worry about what shows up in your head. Some bullshit. That's why it's important for you to learn about how your psyche behaves and functions and malfunctions, and be knowledgeable about it. So much science is about it out there. And of course, my end of it is talking about the scholars who have talked about the behavior and movement of the psyche since hundreds of years ago. And I have based my understanding research on both ends of it, the scientific end and the psychological end, without the scientific exams and research on it. In other words, scientists such as many researchers who go through medical experiences and measurements have helped us to understand so much. And then there's also non-medical discussions about it that helps us to understand so much. We got to know both. And Ash says this isn't about homophobia. It isn't even about your sexuality changing. The fears you have no real basis at all. Whether that's harm OCD, pedophilia OCD, homosexual OCD, or whatever OCD. That's my boy. You seem like you've done your research. Good for you. And Mariana, Caesar, Ash, Stephen, and Jeffrey says, how can I empty my mind for better clarity? Well, Jeffrey, I'm not sure you have much in your mind to have to worry about emptying it. So that should be easy, huh? Good of you to join us, Jeff. Male 33 Toronto. Good to see you here. And McLovin says super bad. Yeah, I got it. Jeffrey says Planet of the Apes. No, what are you talking about? Jeffrey is super bad. And Sony says, By OCD male 19. Yeah, oh, you have bisexual thoughts. And he says, I find I don't like my male friends getting touchy with me, even as a joke. Like, men just fuck around with each other for fun. I never usually like it. I used to joke about calling my friends gay immediately if they do any such thing, or even if they send a heart emoji. Now all this makes me question if I was secretly homosexual but never realized it. There's nothing secret about your gender. You would know it perfectly well. If you're homosexual, you would not be interested in girls. Simple. You're interested in girls, that's the end of that. The rest of it is just thought. And you shouldn't take your thoughts seriously at all, because if you watch the videos I've made on the origin of thoughts, the roots of thoughts, roots of HOCD, and understanding how the psyche works and how brain makes thoughts and where do they come from, and all these that I have created for you, if you really take the time and watch it, you will understand very simply that thought has no existence. There's no substance to it. And you shouldn't be believing and buying into thoughts, because thoughts are not you, and you're not thoughts. The brain is not you, you're not the brain. You got to understand this, and I have enough videos on this subject that helps you to understand what I'm talking about. And in regards to your sensitivity, it is very normal for many people who come from different cultural backgrounds, and they have this sensitivity of that they feel that they have to prove to the world that I'm really a man. Well, you are a man, you don't have to prove it. But the pressure of proving that from one way or another has been kind of put into your head that in order for you to be a man, you have to be ugly. You have to fit the profile that they use to show a real man in the movies, especially the movies of the old times and all that, kind of rough and rugged and rude and arrogant and so on and so forth. So when you see you're good looking or you're kind, you're compassionate, you see a difference between this and what has been portrayed as what real man looks like in the movies. Then you start thinking, I have to prove it. I have to prove that, no, I am. Because I don't look like that. I don't behave like that. I don't have that attitude of the actor in the role in the movie. But I am, man. I got to maybe prove it. Psychologically, you get pressured to think that you have to prove your manhood. You don't have to. You are man. Men are very different. There's so many men, compassionate, loving, caring, and concerned about other people's well-being. These are real men. These are the strength of the man. A man is the one who is concerned about protection of the others, protecting women, protecting children, protecting other human beings. That's a real man. A real man is not shown by being arrogant, useless, angry, or not caring about proper presentation and being rude to others, or being careless about what's right, what's wrong, and pretending that he doesn't care, nothing bothers me. It's all bullshit. We're all human beings. I mean, that same character or same person that you think is really manly with all that behavior, don't give him a little bit of water for a few hours, he'll be just as uncomfortable as anybody else. Or food, or if you can't go to the bathroom. The same thing. We're all human beings. Nobody has anything over the other one. These are all images. And you have been duped by thinking that the image that has been portrayed to you, that that's a real man, that's what you should have to compare yourself with. No, there's no comparison. Everybody who is a man, they have different kind of behaviors or different emotions, but they're who they are. And we're talking about heterosexual male here at this junction of discussion, because that is what pertaining to the suffering that they are receiving. But whatever it is You don't have to compare yourself with anybody else. You're as man as it comes. You don't have to fit yourself into some kind of a image that they have provided in the movies or discussions or whatever, or just some people who are careless and supposedly carefree, but they have to pay the price of their behavior and lack of concern eventually. So nobody gets away a free ride here. Everybody should eventually do the right thing. So all that what you see is just propaganda. Somebody has an image of, oh, I don't care, I'm really good. Really? But in reality, it doesn't work by image. You still got to do the work, and you got to, pay attention to what you need to pay attention, adhere by the rules that you need to adhere to. And that's all there is to it. The rest of it is your own thoughts and how you've been programmed to think that you have to prove yourself. You don't have to prove yourself. And, some of us simply don't like. Men don't necessarily like, especially in the North American culture, or because there's not much touchy here between men, but in some of the cultures, there's lots of hugs and kissing on the cheek when they see each other. It's all from childhood, it's friendly, and it means nothing sexual about it. It's just the way the culture works. But then when you're also coming from cultures such as India or Iran or Pakistan, and countries that sexuality is not so open and free like it is in the Western countries, then you know that there are lots of perverts in those countries, and they prey on children or other. They're like, because sex is not so available or free between, as it is in North America and Western countries, they have this idea that they are men if they actually fuck another guy. To them, it's like a credit as being a man. So the perversion of it also exists. And that, again, has nothing to do with homosexuality. They're just perverts, not homosexuals. Yeah, because let's don't take that away. Let's don't misrepresent the homosexual genders, that they're just as normal as anybody else, as us, and that's their gender. But then there are people who are actually heterosexuals, but they are perverts, and that they prey on children, and they try to trick them to sexually abuse them, because you can't have these things mix up, heterosexuals, homosexuals, and any other gender. But then there is something that is totally different than all of these, and those are the perverts. They have nothing to do with homosexuality, nothing to do with heterosexuality, nothing to do with any sexuality. They're just sick people, that they prey on children, or they try to have this, because I don't know how they've been, how their mentality is. And in some cultures, they think actually to abuse a child or somebody who is of the same gender, they think that it is, and neither one are homosexual, they're just, it's not a consensual thing. They think that makes them to look like they're really men. These are all problems here. So you may be coming from a country, I don't know which country you come from, Sonny, that you have felt that these touchings is intrusive. So simply say, hey guys, listen, I don't like this touchy business. That's all. You just have to be assertive, because that's how you feel. And you're no less a man than they are, because that's how you prefer. And that's all there is to it. So don't be shy about being assertive, because you want to feel comfortable around your friends. And when you have these OCD type of HOCD or whatever OCD that you have that makes you feel like that, then it's your thought that interferes with you and think that, okay, if your friend is touching you, it means that then you go data hunting. Oh, did I like it? Did I not like it? And all these nonsense and, extra thought and calculation and what is it? Data hunting about it. It just poisons your head. Don't pay attention to the thought. But because you have this malfunction going on, every time your friend wants to sit beside you, you think, oh, maybe I am liking it. Maybe I don't like. Stop that shit. You know what you are, you know what you're not. So the rest of it is thought. And let the thought come and go. Don't focus on them and don't try to make sense out of them. Nothing. They mean nothing. They don't even exist. It's suggestions. Because the brain doesn't have a gender. It's a thought manufacturing plant, and it makes thoughts. So all kinds of things comes out. And some of these things to you, because your gender, is offensive. And that's how you should leave it. Not necessarily need to make sense out of it or interpret it of any kind. So if you understand that, then your friends touch you, so yeah, okay. But if they're touching you in the way they can feel it, it's disgusting. I understand that, because some men who actually are a little bit perverted here, and they don't understand that this is not normal. But then there are other friends of yours that you can feel that they just want to hug you as a friend, and there's nothing in there. Those are, you can judge on the feelings. But don't think that any friend that is touching you, you're supposed to interpret it of anything. Yeah, but I do understand. Because in my life, I've come across people who actually are pervert, In fact, any gay friend would never behave that way. Normal, respectful, gay person would be as normal as you are. There's no difference. So he or she would not behave in such a way that would make you uncomfortable. So these people that you're talking about, it's your own thoughts about it, and also they could also have a different energy and different intentions, which you can feel it. That I can understand. So you just tell them, hey, listen, what is this, this touchy business? Unnecessary. That's it, without putting any label on it. I don't know. I hope that's been helpful to you, a little exploring that together. Ash says, I see over the last few days you have managed to milk some good content out of my question. Haha, bullshit. I've had that on my own plans. You just happen to be asking questions and I've been answering it. Otherwise, don't give you any credit for all that. Says, I've applied what you have said and rewatched some videos, and I started to accept the thoughts. You accept the thoughts that they're thoughts, that they're nonsense. Not accept the thoughts, that there are thoughts. And Ash says, it's been helpful, and I found myself not thinking about any of this or nearly as in an entire day. That's my boy. That's my boy. You're becoming stronger. Says, when I realized, of course, I went back to thinking about it again. Yeah, it does. But I see results already. Good for you. Delighted to hear that. And Ash says, I'm not 100% yet, though, and there are more challenges to overcome as I climb the mountain, so to speak. I'm worried I'll experience what's known as a backdoor spike at some point, though. Listen, your difficulty right now is that you're trying to get rid of this. There's nothing to be get rid of. Let the thoughts be. You're still, the fact that you say, I'm not 100%, I'm trying to climb the mountain, as if there is a destination here. This is the way you deal with it. If they show up, that's how you deal with it. You ignore them, you go on, because you understand how the brain thought and you are related, connected, and work and malfunction. You're not supposed to be trying to get rid of these thoughts. These thoughts are part of the production of the brain. And the brain is going to produce that, regardless of what you are, what age you are. These thoughts can arrive from childhood because brain can make thoughts, and it makes thoughts if it's possible at all. It's not about you, it just makes thoughts. But the thoughts that it makes is not defining you. It's not about you. It wasn't made specifically for you. It's a thought because there is a brain and there's information out there, and the brain's job is to make thoughts, and it makes thoughts. Why? Because it's possible to make those thoughts. It has no reflection on you. It didn't learn it from you. It's a machine that does thoughts. You give it that kind of information that's floating around in the internet and in this world, and it seeps through here, catches on, makes thoughts with it. But you interpret it because it happens in your brain. Oh, it must be about me. No. It is in everyone's brain. Anyone who has a brain, the brain makes these thoughts as part of other thoughts that it makes. But we learn to simply recognize, okay, there is shit here. I won't step on it. I will go over there. I will jump over it. And you become an expert in maneuvering around things that are like you're swimming in the ocean. You see debris there, things floating up. So you kind of maneuver and go toward and swim on the water that is suitable to you. Same thing when you walk from here to there. There could be all kind of things on the floor. I don't know, things that are not interesting to you. Debris, branches, dust, I don't know, dog poo, whatever it is. What is it? Snot, throw up, milk spilled, ice cream there on the floor, vomit, all kinds of things. You don't know what happened the night before or a few hours before. Other people were passing by and so on. So what do? You say, oh, I can't go. I got to wait until all cleaned up before I move on. No. You learn to negotiate and put your foot on, places that are not messy. And then you go. And you become really good at it because you have brain, you have eyes, you have ears, you navigate yourself, and you negotiate where you want to go without having to deal with the stuff that is unwanted. Same thing with the brain. You learn to recognize, okay, that's nonsense there, but you don't data on it, you don't step on it, you don't stand on it, you don't negotiate with it, you don't interact with it. You just say, okay, oh, that's right, okay, I gotta go there. Okay, okay, yeah, I see it, I see the garbage. Okay, well, you recognize them, but you don't fuss with them, because that's what is part of the function of the brain. It makes thoughts, and many of them are intrusive thoughts. So what? It's not, you're the boss. You're not going to turn it into action. What's the difference between you sitting and watching a movie and there are all kinds of ideas in the movie? You just saw it. Does that mean because you saw it, now you're going to do it? And because you saw it, you were witness to that scene that was unwanted and disgusting to you, obscene to you, whatever it was, or violent to you. It could be any kind of a scene. But you're not interested in that. You're against it, but the scene was part of the movie. So what does that mean? You saw it, you heard it. That means now it's you? No, it's the same as intrusive thought. That you saw it, okay, you recognize it, okay, but you're waiting for the rest of the story. You're watching a movie. But it's not going to be meaning anything more than that to you. A thought the same. You have a screen here, and lots of screens and lots of images and lots of suggestions and things could show up because that's the brain's production, not yours. And you're witness to it. So, okay. But just like a movie, I'm witness to what's happening there, but I've got nothing to do with it. I'm not interested in it. I didn't make it. It was made by some storyteller or story writer or some director or some movie maker, and it's there, and part of the movie that I wanted to see, it was supposed to be action, and there's these stuff in it too. Well, okay, but it's not going to change me. It may disturb me, but I'm not going to change. Same thing. The brain makes all kind of thoughts. I didn't ask it to make it. I didn't want it at all. I want it to be the way I want things, but it has the mind of its. It's an independent system, so it makes the stuff. I happen to notice it, so okay, I notice it, but it's not going to change me. It's not going to do anything to me. I'm still against it. It's unwanted. I'm not for it. I didn't want it to be made, but I recognize it, what it is, and I stay away from it because whether they made it or not, I would stay away from it. Now that it's made it, so it's made it, that means it's different than if it hadn't been made. I would stay away from it if it wasn't showing up in my head. But now that it showed up, it means something that I might actually act on. No, that's shit. Don't interpret it that way. There's so many things in this life. So everything that you witness in the street, that you're gonna be thinking that, then I must data hunt it, think about it, or consider it, or what? You don't. You see it, say, okay, you move on. But when caudate nucleus is not functioning properly in your brain, when these sort of thoughts shows up, just like when you see something weird or to you unwanted is happening, or uninteresting or obnoxious or obscene is happening in the street, you turn around, go away. In the brain, when the caudate nucleus is malfunctioning, it doesn't have that capability of automatically shutting it down so you can go about focusing on other things. It lingers there. That's all. It's a malfunction of the signaling system. Not you changing to anything else just because some thought showed up. You gotta understand this logic and understand this mechanism and how it is. It's no different than watching a movie. Every movie you come out, you're affected and you're disturbed if it was disturbing to you. But you're not gonna change. It's gonna pass by. Finish. Same thing. This is lingering for a while. It's just a little longer. But eventually, you will learn that you're not turning into action, and that's all it matters, not the idea or suggestions that shows up, because there's so many of them show up all during the day in everybody's brain, anywhere in the world. Everybody has intrusive thoughts. So, relax on that, guys. And Mariana says, you've been so helpful to many. I've read comments on videos from years ago, and the fact that you take time to answer is amazing. By far the best channel in this platform. Oh, thank you, Mariana. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. I'm delighted that you noticed that. Yes, I have spent many hours, maybe thousands of hours, responding to these comments, because I know it's coming from pain, whether it's a relationship breakup, whether it's their psyche, whatever the question is. This channel has been real and interested in helping, and I'm delighted that you noticed that. I appreciate that. That's why it offended me when someone with all the integrity and honesty and love that this channel is exuding and is extending outwardly, somebody who happens to have participated in our live talks and turns around, makes a comment in one of the videos, and often some of these comments that are made, it comes to my email address, because when a comment is made on one of the videos, automatically YouTube sends a notification that a comment has come about this video to my email. So I read it, but not always I can read the full thing. It's only maybe a few lines. And then I press the play to come to the video and to find it. So there I can comment back, respond. Often these comments disappear. They're not on the video. They come as an email, but when you try to find them on the video, they're not there. For whatever reason, I don't know. It's happened many times. It happens to everybody. Sometimes it's because the words that have been chosen by the person who made the comment, the viewer, maybe it's against the policy of YouTube. I may be able to use the same word from this side to comment back, but they may not be able to use that because it is designed for not have intrusive words in there or some kind of a negative words or whatever it is that they consider negative. So this person, who I know who he is here, but I don't know him personally, just know that he's been here, and a couple of times I've seen his screen thumbnail. Then I could not find his comment on the video to respond. So what do? I actually click on his name so it can take me to his own channel. So making a full effort, kind and honest effort, to go to his channel, even though his comment is no longer on my video. How do I know? Maybe he decided to delete it himself. Maybe it was deleted by the system. But still, I made effort as a respect to someone who made a comment. And because he had misunderstood, or he had made a comment that I didn't think that was kind, and I wanted to make sure that he understand he's respected, his views are respected, and we are here for everybody. So, but I don't know if he had any ulterior motive or not. That was very not good way of painting the channel. So anyhow, I made a genuine effort to explain, no, this is not considering homosexuality with any other type of characteristics of a OCD. Is that I'm saying OCD has many subsets. And one subset is harm OCD, responsibility OCD, washing hand OCD, homosexual OCD, pedophilia OCD. All these are subsets of OCD. So I was saying in that video, which you can all see it, that any subset of OCD, it should be dealt with because this and this and this, that. So it was just about OCDs. And he picks up on something which I don't believe that any person who means well would do that. And he makes a comment, and I just take it as a positive thing, and then I go to his channel, find his own videos, and make a comment there. And then I say, I couldn't find you anymore on my video. That's why I made an effort to find your channel and leave my comment in one of your videos. And I even said the name of the videos, and it's still there. And he didn't maybe notice a comment or thank or say, oh, thank you for making the effort. He apparently saw that his comment was not answered on my video, not thinking that it was deleted. He says, excuse me, did you delete my video, my comment about that this series have homophobic content or something? So then I had to explain. So if you guys go on one of my videos about, I think it's about the you will always be who you've always been, you will see I have put a long comment for him to understand that this way of thinking is not kind and is not fair and is not balanced, as everybody is important here, but nobody is more important than the other one just because their gender is not heterosexual or is not homosexual or is not this or that. We're all in it together, and he should understand that, whoever you are. So that's why I was disappointed to see that instead of understanding what this channel is all about, they're trying to label it, and I don't stand for that. And of course, then we had somebody else, I don't know if he was affiliated to this person or not, and then in the other live stream made a comment, which you were all here, maybe some of you, says, are you homophobic? What does that have to do with anything? We're talking about some serious matters here that it could hit anybody who's heterosexual or homosexual or any other gender. It's talking about the psyche. And if you want to interpret it that way, then you certainly have a ulterior motive, which I don't appreciate it. All right. Now, let's go to... Oh, Carpe Diem is here. Carpe Diem says, good to see you, Mehran. Happy Friday. Good to see you as well, too, although I don't see you guys, but thank you for being here. And Jeffrey says, how can I be less angry at the people that laid me off? Oh, you can be angry as you want, as much as you want, and you have the right to be, but understand that it's not going to do anything to the whole situation. It's just going to make you lose energy instead of focusing it on finding another job. Being angry, although it's a reaction that we want to have, but it's really not effective on solving what we want it to be changed. So if you notice that your anger is only going to work against you because they're not aware of your anger and they don't feel your anger. So you're feeling it because you're producing it. So what I'm trying to say is okay, so many people around the world have all kinds of shit happening to them, and if this is my biggest problem, well, I welcome it, because I'm sure there are other people who really have really bad stuff. Health challenges, no food to eat, no place to stay, all kinds of negative challenges, danger, unsafe. So, okay, let me see what I can do for my situation to turn it around, because I'm not as bad as many other things around. So perhaps that could be of some help, Jeffrey, because you're a capable person and you can change things around, and you're living in Canada. You know, it's not like some two-bit country somewhere that you really don't know what's happening there and if there are any, any other opportunities. So I want you to use this to give you more power and determination to get a better job now, another job, and then move from there. Don't allow yourself to become subject to the decisions that some other people have made, because you're the boss of you. They may be boss of their own company, but you're the boss of you. So they cannot actually affect, they may fire you, but they can't affect your ability to continue rebuilding and achieving what you want to achieve. That's up to you. They cannot take that away from you. Having noticed that, then why are you angry? You just say, well, they're idiots. They fire me. So they're idiots. That's all. They're idiots. So you go on and build your life. You don't need them. You're a Canadian. You can do it. We can do anything. And Carpe Diem says, I have to go now, but hope to see you tomorrow on Saturday. Cheers, wonderful teachers. Thank you so much, Carpe Diem. I appreciate that. Just wanted to let you guys know, and I hope that tomorrow our live stream would be later than 1. I have something that I have to attend to at 1. So we will hopefully have it at 3 or 3:30. And then also I will maybe couple it up with Sunday session as well to make up for it. And then, of course, tomorrow night, hopefully we will have, at 9:30, we'll have another session, hopefully. Because as you know, it's just happens to be a little get-together, with my son and my immediate family. So I'm invited for dinner. So because it's I'm 65 now, so I'm getting dinner. So I'm looking forward to spend some time with my family tomorrow, but I still think at about 9:30 I'll be able to have a live stream, especially because I wouldn't have it tomorrow at 1 p.m. due to some other matter that I have to attend to. But I will try to have it at 3:30 instead of 1 p.m. and then again at 9:30, and also hopefully maybe Sunday I will have one more at 1 p.m. just to make it up. And Aman says, 9 male India says, I maybe a month before found out the problem I'm suffering through is HOCD through your videos. I'm manly from beginning. Only this intrusive thoughts made me weak, especially. Okay, especially I have restarted brother who's making my condition worse by pointing like I'm gay. He's retarded. I want to beat him up, but I let it. Some friends too try to make me weak. That's why I'm feeling weak. No, what they say is nonsense, like what your brain says. It's no different. Some people say nonsense who are not you from outside, and some other nonsense comes from your own brain. Both are nonsense. You don't have to pay attention. So what they utter, it's their own fear and their own shortcomings of understanding of that this is how the brain functions, and until they have to deal with it, they don't seem to be wise enough to understand that this is a mental challenge that happens to so many millions and millions of people, if not all, at one time or another. Look, everybody in this world, Aman, everybody in this world, at least the last statistics showed 94.6% of the people in this world, and the other 6% either lying or they just don't know it yet, they have intrusive thoughts. We all have intrusive thoughts. But because there's a mechanism that shuts it off because it's against our nature, and the mechanism knows that inwardly from our core value system and from our gender, and it knows what our gender is and so on, so it automatically shuts off those intrusive thoughts. But when it malfunctions, it doesn't do the job, and the thought lingers because the frontal cortex keeps sending the same image and same thought because it doesn't get the signal back to shut it off because there's a malfunction in the brain. And you need to rewire yourself by the way you behave toward those thoughts, by dissing them, ignoring them, and recognizing what they are, that they're not you. They're thoughts, they're OCD thoughts, they're intrusive thoughts. They're not you, you're not thoughts, and you recognize them and call them for what they are, intrusive thoughts, and you go on without paying attention to them. And this behavior over time shows the brain that, hey, they're not reacting to it the way if it was pleasant to them, so therefore that means I should rewire it and not bring these sort of thoughts so much. And eventually they will reduce and stop, and even if it comes back again, you've already known how to deal with it. So this is part of any brain. And if these idiots don't understand it and they tease you on that, let them do. You still become stronger by knowing this knowledge and how your brain works, because the ones who really know the function and behavior and mechanism of the brain are the ones who actually become stronger and more confident in life, because they know this is not them, this is the brain, and that's how the brain works. But those idiots don't know, and they will eventually may come across to it. So Stephen says, I understand, I believe these thoughts, and that one of the problems. Yeah, good. Don't believe him. That's the problem. And Ash says, oh shit, happy birthday, Miran. Why shit? For heaven's sake. I mean, thank you. And Jeffrey says, happy birthday, Miran. Thank you. And McLovin from Superbad says, happy birthday, sir. Thank you very much, McLovin. When I call your screen name, it brings the face of that actor who played very well, McLovin. Steven says, happy birthday, Miran. Thank you. John Deere says, hey, Miran. Oh, jumped here. Where did it go? John Deere says, hey, Miran. Been feeling better lately, thanks to you. Still have some thoughts and feelings, but they usually occur when I am half asleep. I treat it as HOCD still. I'm hoping this goes away soon. Though don't hope this goes away soon. You don't care when it goes away, because the jig is up. You already know what it is. So what do you care when it goes away? As long as you know. Look, it's something that is unwanted, something that you don't have anything to do with it, something that is just, it's nuisance for you. So what do? You just, okay, it's there, you go your way. That can be there. Like you walk in the street, you see something unpleasant, something that it's obscene to you, you just move on. So don't expect your life will come back to normal when things go away. No, it's a brain. It can malfunction any day. But you knowing about its malfunctioning, that's the secret of balance and relaxed life, because it's like saying, oh, I can't rest and have my tea or pastry until there's no fly or mosquito. But it's part of fact of life. They're there. You recognize, there's a fly. Okay, it's a fly. You know it's a fly. Otherwise, you'll always be waiting for them to go or afraid of them. No, you recognize what they're, you're not afraid of them. Well, it's a fly. Okay, I know what it is. So therefore, I'm not afraid of it. I just, do this and I ignore it. I move my hand and I swat it and I go away. But you wait until there's no mosquito or fly before you can, exercise or have your food or whatever. That's going to be a very difficult life. But as long as you recognize it's a mosquito, you recognize it's a fly, then you are aware of it. Therefore, it cannot bother you because you are aware of their existence. They won't surprise you. What is it? What is it? Oh, it sits here. Oh, no, you already know. It's just what it is, fly. It's part of life, part of the environment. So intrusive thoughts is part of the function of the brain. You don't wait until it goes away. What goes away? What? It's part of that. It's like saying, I will be perfectly healthy and balanced when I don't have to go to the bathroom anymore. Well, that's part of the function of your biological being. You have to eat and you have to go to the bathroom, get rid of it. And sometimes these residues in the brain are in the form of intrusive thoughts because it constantly is manufacturing thoughts. And the residues are also created because it's functioning, it's doing something. Whatever machine, whatever mechanism, whatever factory, whatever machine is functioning, there's always going to be some exhaust. Whatever fuel it burns, there's exhaust. And if it's a human being, you eat food to turn it into energy, you work it, and then there is feces and residues you got to get rid of. The brain also is functioning, is producing something. What? Producing thoughts. So, and does calculation, does this and that, and then it can also produce garbage, feces. The residues of the function that it has all day long are the intrusive thoughts. You can't wait until you stop going to the bathroom and say, I'm perfect. No, you are perfect while you sometimes have to go to the bathroom. You are perfect even when you have intrusive thoughts. You just have to know that's the intrusive thought. That's the time not to pay attention to it and go about my business. Huh? That's how you deal. Otherwise, I'm waiting for it to go soon. No, what soon? It comes and goes and comes and goes. You just have to know where the enemy is and recognize the enemy and move on, rather than thinking, I will wait to have a good life when there are no misfortunes and no enemies, no challenges whatsoever. That's never going to happen. Does it happen? No. Same thing here. This also going to be there. And when it's there, you know what it is, so it won't be bothered. That's why you want the knowledge. Otherwise, you can't stop the brain from functioning. It functions like your heart beats as long as you're alive. And in this functioning, there are all kinds of shit that could be manufactured. And when you know about it and the essence of it and the roots of it and why it happens and so on, and you understand it's just nonsense, irrelevant rubbish, is part of the feces and the malfunction of the brain and how brain functions, then you just say, okay, I know what it is and I don't care. Fuck it. I speak French. All right. Now, don't you French-speaking people say, you disrespect the French? No. Je peux parler français. So, je ne parle pas. All right. Let's go to, who's here? Art says hello. Art says, I'm not asking anything today. As more as I control, I will get better. Well, you always say that, but then you ask something. But good, don't ask anything. You don't need anything. Just watch the videos. Everything is there, and you're an expert now. Will be soon, says Male 40 UK. Happy birthday, Mehran. Thanks for your wonderful work. My pleasure. Thank you so much for being here. Art says, happy birthday to you. May God give you long life. Thank you very much. Art, I appreciate that. Very kind of you. Old Dirty Dasher. Okay, I know she, it's a he. Okay, sorry. I don't know why I thought. First time maybe somewhere you said she. This is Male 46, Orange County, California. Oh, Orange County. would like to have an orange. That kind of give me an idea. But I'll settle for a green tea. Have you guys had some of these cups? Yeti? It keeps it warm for 5 days. If you're not careful, you burn yourself. But it's a great cup, and you can really count on it keeping it cool or hot, whatever you put in it. The trick for it is I pour my tea and I don't put the lid on. And when the tea gets into almost the right temperature, but still a little bit hotter than the normal, I put the lid on. Then it keeps that temperature for another couple of hours. So it's very pleasant, very, very useful. All right. And he says, male 46, Orange County, California. So how do I get rid of jealous thoughts about my ex? She's with someone else now. I don't have anyone. So what? It's natural to be a little bit jealous. You're hungry. You see somebody's having a nice sandwich. You feel jealous because you want food. You don't have food. Okay. But you know what? Later on, you will have food and no longer you feel jealous. So instead of then not feeling jealous about the person who's having a sandwich and you're seeing it, knowing that you will not be jealous later on when you have your own sandwich, transfer that feeling that you will have then, by that knowledge, transfer it to now. And say, I know I will not be jealous because I'm jealous right now because I'm hungry. I'm jealous right now because this was mine and is not. Somebody else is with her. I'm jealous because of these reasons. Not that I'm jealous because I got to be jealous. I'm jealous because of these reasons, but I won't be jealous when this time passes and I will find a new girlfriend. So it's not the definite thing that this is going to be all the time. Often we're jealous because we think this condition will last forever. But if you focus on the fact that this, what makes you jealous is just temporary and it will change, and with the hope and understanding that it will change, it's not permanent, you will kind of release yourself that, okay, I'm not really, okay, fine, yeah, I'm jealous, but okay, everything will be okay for me too. Because it's natural to feel that way. But don't be jealous. Just focus on the fact that you don't have her. That bothers you, okay. Don't be jealous. Why? Because if she was really that good, she would have still be with you. How could someone who has left you and is with somebody else be actually qualified to be with you? Which means the fact that she has left, she wasn't good enough. It wasn't a match. And why would you want to be with someone who wasn't good enough? Because she has left. And because she has left, she wasn't good enough. Because if she was good enough, she wouldn't have left. The fact that she has, that means she's not good enough. So why would you want to be with someone who's not good enough? Got it? Confused? That makes two of us. But there is a wisdom to my madness. Stephen says, what do you think about going with your feelings when you're with someone and being yourself? Yeah, but depending if that being yourself jeopardizes the freedom of that person and makes that person uncomfortable. Well, you go feeling. Maybe you want to take your pants off and piss in the street when you're walking with your friend. Oh, that wouldn't be, fun for them. You're being yourself. That's why we have standards. Somebody sits in a formal seating for having dinner and says, I want to be myself. So starts farting and eating with, putting his hand into the actual big dish that everybody's supposed to take some, and then I'm being myself. So that's not. So you can be free, but as long as you understand what the meaning of freedom is. Freedom is freedom as long as it doesn't jeopardize the freedom of the person next to you. So if you want to be yourself, yeah, that means a lot. Look, you could be sitting at your home and sticking your finger up your nose up to this second part of your thingy, or you're being yourself. But you can't be like that when you're outside. There's a protocol. So you got to make sure that there's a happy balance in there, that being you doesn't take away from the comfort zone of the others who are related to you or are there or are in the society. That's why not just anything goes in the street or in the society at the same time, because there are also all kind of people who have made their behavior or their preferences may differ from you. And Siva says, I know that less with a woman is more, but I like to be myself at times instead of looking at everywhere as a strategy. This is just one of things I'd like to talk to you about, but we'll talk more when we will. But remember, she also want to feel safe and secure, and she may not understand this is you and you mean it from passion angle or kind angle. She may not be in that mood until you're really with someone for a long time and you have discussed these things because you've been close enough. I wouldn't act on it because I don't know what's in her mind. Does she deserve for you to be you? What if you just want to hug her and kiss her in every moment because you love her and she's important to you? But that makes her to get a big head because she doesn't understand that you're genuinely fond of her. And she hasn't expressed her level of fondness to you, towards you. So these things comes to be known in time and through maybe conversation, discussion. And once you guys have enough assurance of each other's interest toward one another, then before that, you can't be that honest. Unfortunately, guys, in relationships, as much as many of us romantics and compassionate people want, men or women, want to express their emotions fully towards the other, unless it is really a long-term relationship already and you've understood each other well and discussed and are fond of each other equally, there is a certain policies that you need to observe. You can't be too honest just because you're honest and you mean well and you're genuine. Other people are not as strong as you to be honest with their feelings. They're not sure themselves. So when you express so much emotion towards them, they think they're better than you. They're too good because they're getting so much of you. That would mean they've got the upper hand in their mind. They're calculating these things because they're inferior in spirit and they're not sure themselves and they're always comparing themselves and they don't have enough confidence. So they see that as giving them confidence, and when they have enough confidence, they think you don't have enough confidence and you're not good enough to their level because you're showing so much attention to them, and they don't think much of themselves. And they say, if this guy shows so much attention to me, then I don't think I'm that much, so why is he showing so much attention to me? Maybe then he's not much. He's less than me that I don't think I'm much. Therefore, he's not much and I don't want him. So unfortunately, you have to play this little balanced offerings, this kind of a diplomatic behavior. Don't put it all out. It's just like you have guests, you bring all the food and dessert and everything and tea and hors d'oeuvre and everything from beginning to end, all of them at once on the table. Suddenly, they're not appreciating so much and not that interesting. They don't think it was such an elaborately designed and delivered. There's lots of things that is not much in it, but the delivery is important. And if you have lots of quality things in you, but your delivery is not good, they may not really see its value. So you need to deliver yourself or what you're offering in a package that is small enough for them to be palatable, but not big enough to be too much for them, so they can't chew on it and they get suffocated. So small dosages so they would enjoy it, taste it, and be able to handle it, and it can ask for more because it wasn't enough. But you put the whole food in front of the guests, all of them, dessert and hors d'oeuvre and everything else, and the main course and everything, they get confused a little bit. Why am I so important? I don't think I'm so important. This guy is really saying hello so many times, so maybe he's really not that important. So next time you say hello, the guy, instead of saying, oh, hello, how are you, that he used to, he's going to say, yeah, hello. Like, it's not worth it anymore. So unfortunately, until you get someone really confident and assured, treat with your girlfriend or, whatever your relationships are, women, with your boyfriends, to your levels, to each other's level, that you both have are ready for it. Yeah, but again, we'll speak further. And Steven says, thank you, Mehran. I'm going to sleep soon since I work in the morning. We'll talk to you soon. Okay, for sure. And Link, that's a new name, says, I always wanted to ask after the glitch is fixed. Link, have you been here before? If you have, please let me know a little bit about yourself. Gender, age, and where you're tuning in from, which country. Because I kind of don't remember you. Or maybe you have, but I don't know much. So, and I'll get back to you as soon as I have. Let me read your question, trusting that you will put that information, gender, age, and where you're tuning in from, down below. It says, after the glitch is fixed, will the mind go entirely back to normal, or will there be some glitches remaining? There are always going to be glitches. You are normal right now. It's not understanding, and the glitches confusing you is the problem. But once you understand what this is, then glitches don't mind. It's like saying, is this rain or storm going to be the last storm? Once it clears up forever. That's the atmosphere. It has all kinds of things, right? But you knowing that this is what it is, then it wouldn't bother you. Oh, okay, there's a storm here. Okay, put your raincoats on. That's all it takes. So you see intrusive, oh, that's intrusive thoughts. I know what this shit is. I know, okay. All right, then. I'm going to deal with that shit now. But it won't bother you because you know what it is. Yeah? It's like a you know, I don't know. It's like someone who tries to scare you with a mask or with kind of wanting to joke with you. But the first time that joke happens, you believe it and you get really affected and frightened. But once you know that this person behind the mask is a friend, or is just nobody, it's just a mask, it's just a joke, or it's not real, then every time he shows up with that mask, you say, okay, I'm scared about that. Okay, I know what it is. Not so much. So that's pretty much all you need to know. There's nothing wrong with you. These are the functions and malfunctions of the brain in everybody, so it happens. And Link says, also, happy birthday, Mehran. Thank you so much, Link. I appreciate that. I'm feeling embarrassed because I don't remember you having participated in our chats before. Let me see if you have. Link says, Link 20 mail from Mid-East. Really sorry for not giving out this information earlier. Thank you. I appreciate that. Now I got it. So Mid-East. Would that be where? Yeah, I know where. Okay, somewhere in the Middle East. All right, Ipman, I can see your question that was held for view. Yeah, well, of course, of course, that's how it feels. Of course, you would feel uncomfortable. That's who wouldn't. And that very thing tells you that you are what you've always been. You're a heterosexual male. That's it. That's how it feels for. If you weren't, then you wouldn't be uncomfortable. All right, let's go back to where we were. Ash says, yeah, I accepted that there are thoughts. Yeah, that's what I meant. Lol. Okay, good. And Ash says, you're right, of course. Setting an exception or goal to rid yourself of HOCD will backfire and never end. As you've said before, accept the thoughts as there and that the brain is malfunctioning. Yeah, that's it. I have this 3 videos that I made for you guys yesterday, and I'm excited to put it on. It's a different level, and I hope that you guys can appreciate it. It takes you into a little deeper in your understanding of your psyche, and that helps you to become stronger by this knowledge. And I hope that will have the effect that I want it to have. And these are not things that you could, I don't think you could find it anywhere else. It needs a little deep ability to have inwardly examined and understand, and to deliver it. And I hope that I've delivered in the way that you guys can benefit from. And it says that the brain is malfunction, and carry on and show it you're not afraid through behavior. Yeah, look, the brain is not your enemy right now. It doesn't even know what it's doing. It just makes thoughts. And the part of the brain that it's always shut these things off because there was no OCD involved, it's just right now because OCD is malfunctioning. That's all. Otherwise, brain is not against you. It's just doing its own shit. Brain doesn't know that it's doing this. It doesn't know that it's bothering you. If it did, then it would be you. It's not you. That's why it doesn't know shit about you. That's why you can't even take it seriously when it suggests anything, because it doesn't know anything about you, so it's just making thoughts. And you're the one who take these thoughts as if the brain knows about you and is supposed to mean something to you, and you treat it as that, then you get, oh, what if somebody else out there you're walking around says, utter some shitty words? You can see the source is outside of you. So you don't give a damn. So the guy is crazy. But this so happens to be in your head, then you think because it's your head, then it's you. But no, it's still outside of you. It's an outside entity. Its brain is part of apparatuses that you own, but not you. You own it. It works for you, but it's not you. So what it makes doesn't define you. Simple. Duh. All right. All right. And Abid Poluk says, hello, Mehran, 22-year-old male from Bangladesh. Hello, Abid, Bangladesh. I had an interview with a gentleman from Bangladesh on Facebook just last week. And so we discussed many different things, and we had questions and so on. I don't know if you were there or you aware of it. Says, I had a 9 months old relationship. In the 10th month, I knew that she was cheating on me with one of my friends for 5 months. Oh, that's not cool. When she get caught, she refused to call our relation as a love affair. She said there was nothing between us. What to do now? What do you want? A trophy? You want to prove to the others that you slept with her? That it was a love affair? What? Is it a credit for you? What do you care? She wants to keep her virtue to the other guy or to the society. Oh no, I didn't know. We were just friends. But with this one, now everybody knows. What are you going to do after this one if you go to somebody else? She's not thinking. Don't worry about that. Who cares? What do you think she's going to make you what? Important if you say that? Just say it like this. Okay, it was what it was, but she doesn't want to admit to it, so I don't care. So what? What was the fact? The fact that was that you guys were together, right? Okay. That's a fact. That can't be changed. So whatever she wants to say, you know it, so enjoy it. If that's important to you. But I wouldn't think it's important at all. So what? Why should you think that she has to admit? Why? It gives you a credit? Yeah, I know. You want to say to your friends, I had a girlfriend. Big deal. You don't want to have a girlfriend who doesn't want to be so happy about having been in a relationship, and now she wants to cover it up, put it under the rug. Oh, no, I have never been with anyone, she says now. Oh, nonsense. Okay. Why would you even want to have any relationship with such a person who is not honest with herself? Don't worry about it. Doesn't matter. What to do? There's nothing to be done. In fact, it's great to say, yeah, that's right. I had nothing to do with her. Uh-huh. She can go. Because later on, if your next girlfriend says, oh, did you have anything to do with it? Well, listen, she says no, so therefore that's the end of it. Because definitely I have nothing to do with her now. All right. All right. All right. Let's see what Ash is writing. It's let's see what it is. I read it for you guys. And Ash says, I'm not sure if this was OCD or post trauma. I can't read this. Let me clean this up a little bit. PTSD. Um, Post trauma syndrome disorder. But when I was very young, I was working with my dad as a scaffolder, and I was just out of school. One day, the end of the work day, they were a group of lads, and they were all stood around watching a video on a phone and all laughing at it. It was curious, so I went over to see what it was, and it was an Iraqi prisoner of war being executed, beheaded. Ash says it was gruesome, and the screams he was making were horrible. I remember for 2 days after I was in shock, I couldn't communicate or work properly because I kept replaying what I saw in my head. On the third day, I had a nervous breakdown at home and took 2 weeks off of work. But for the next 3 years after, I basically couldn't work anymore. And I became a recluse who never left home. Ash says I had constant intrusive thoughts about what I saw and developed a lot of anxiety. I was often angry or irritable and too scared to go out and meet friends because every time I looked at someone, I'd have intrusive thoughts of them having their head removed. Not just friends, but anyone. Eventually, I got myself out more and more and studied drumming. This became my purpose and my drive. Ash adds, and over time, I learned to accept and ignore the thoughts, and I built a whole new life for myself. In time, I forgot I even went through this. I don't know when I stopped, but it just stopped. If I didn't go through that, I wouldn't be who I am today. So weirdly, I'm grateful for that. I'm hoping it's the same for everyone else. And for HOCD, sorry for the long post, guys. No, that's okay. Yes, it actually, what doesn't kill you makes you stronger. So the knowledge that you went through that makes you tougher. But focusing on the fact that what you see in a movie, or whether it's real from a real event or it's a movie fictional, the brain doesn't understand the difference. Whatever brain sees or images, or even in the form of thoughts, it takes it as reality, because to the brain, the limits of the screen of the head and what it produces, the images that appear on that screen, it's the world and it's its reality. But it shouldn't be to you. That is to the brain. You should separate yourself from the brain and understand that what brain thinks is the reality is not necessarily the reality. So what you were watching affected your senses and sensories and the brain in a certain way. But you didn't separate that what was happening to be something that is no longer. You continued it as if it's the actuality of the world all the time. You didn't give it a time span that happened and ended. It affected you and you ruminated it and you kept seeing that image, and the brain didn't know that this image that is now coming back on is already gone. It's finished. It's no longer watching something real or something for the first time. It's something that doesn't exist anymore, because the brain, when it has an image, it doesn't understand that it doesn't exist and it's an image. It thinks it's real because there is an image, and the brain's only way of communication is by images. From the old time, thousands and thousands of years ago, if you remember in the caves, there are drawings that have been scratched on the walls of the cave, because the way that they communicated, because they weren't able to think till 40,000 years ago, and when they started, it was all the beginning of it. It was all images. To this day, when you have a thought, there usually, unless it's a word that doesn't have a picture, there's a picture behind it. Everything is translated into pictorial, and that's how you communicate. That's why when you have a trauma, or when you have intrusive thoughts, the images are there, and the brain doesn't understand that this image doesn't exist, because it has no understanding of what is actuality, what is virtuality. It thinks is real and acts as real because it is designed to protect you, so it's not going to wait for any evidence that this is real. You see a knife, it's just jump away. See a gun, it's going to flee. See something thrown at it, it's going to go. If you even have a ball in your hand and you pretend you're going to throw, the other person will duck. Even though you didn't throw it, the ball is still in your hand. The brain is just designed to protect you, and it's going to react as best and fast as it can to protect you and save you. That includes the images that it comes. It's not going to look for evidence if it's real or actuality or not. It says it's an image. It's contrary to what my gender is. It's contrary to what I prefer. It's contrary to my inclination. It's contrary to my preference. It's contrary to what I would accept. It's going to react in a certain way until you teach it, hey, buddy, this is not actuality. It's a thought. Simmer down. I need your reactions if there's something real happens to save me. A lion attacks, a truck is about to run me over, people are going to harm me, or they're attacking me or something, then we will use it. But I want you right now, that is now known to us that this is not actuality. There is no threat. My gender is not changing. I'm not gonna be under any danger because of my gender or anything. These thoughts do not show any change in my inclination. That's not gonna change. To simply simmer down. Don't react. You don't have to have your fight and flight so heightened. I know you want to protect me, brain, but that's okay. These are pictures. These are images. These are thoughts. And you are just a brain. You're not me. You're stupid. You believe in these things because you don't have an understanding of actuality and virtuality. And I accept that you're stupid and these things happen. So I let you do these things because you don't understand what they are and you take them seriously. So, but I know better. I don't take them seriously because I know this is what you function, how you function. So just keep doing it. But I want you to simmer down and don't react so much because I'm not having time for that. It's just wasting my time. And you make me jump here and there because you believe something that for a second I believe it, but then quickly I realize that you're full of shit. And I want you to understand that you're full of shit. So simmer down. Then, so same thing happened with that thing until you understood and separated yourself from the brain's experience, and you understand that there is a me, there is you, and there is a brain. And the brain had that picture, that event that you saw. It was very gruesome. And then later on, the brain couldn't understand that it's done. Every time that it would have that image or picture as it was in the memory, it would think it's real. So it would make you react the same way. It would also make the sensories react as if it was the first time. But when you separated yourself eventually from the brain and understood that what brain is reacting to, because it's a stupid, it thinks it's always real what it images in there show up. But you understood that it is not. So you separated yourself from the brain, and that's when your freedom started, and you became balanced, and you became the boss, you became the controller. You became the one who calls the shot and not afraid. And you were just saying, hey, cool down, that's not real. That's when you got your life back. So separation from the brain is very necessary. And remember always, you're not thoughts. Thoughts are not you. You're not the brain, and brain is not you. And that is the freedom of mind. And you will be saved every time that such thing shows up, or any subset of OCD, HOCD, intrusive thoughts, or whatever it is that is not in your nature shows up. Then you'll be wise to it, and you will help the brain to simmer down. All right, where were we? Now we've finished this portion. Let's see. Aman says, should we treat the HOCD sensation which happened due to thoughts as we treat HOCD? Well, you see, brain is very powerful, and body reacts to brain. So your body is not reacting to the actual thing. Your body is reacting to the brain's illusion. So your body is reacting to the brain's illusion, not to the concept of that, whatever it is that the brain has brought up as a suggestion. So yes, you just simply understand that it is a reaction to the brain's illusion, not to the concept of homosexuality. Because the brain is under the illusion that it is, because it doesn't understand the difference, and it's reacting to that. And your body reacts to it because brain is very powerful. If you watch my video number 7 in intrusive, transient, OCD, HOCD, negative thoughts, you will see the power of mind that is so powerful that it can actually defy the law of physics, right? You will see it. And so that same power can make you believe all kind of shit. But if you're wise to it, then you treat the brain as an apparatus, separate yourself from it, and you won't be bamboozled by what it thinks is real. There is a difference between it, the brain, and you. You must understand that. Now, Hipman says, hey, I came a little bit late. Okay. Yeah, Ipman, we have answered all that. There is no time. This is part of the brain, so you got to learn how the brain works. So it doesn't matter. There's no. Everybody has intrusive thoughts, and it's not like, oh, how long does it take for intrusive thoughts to not show up, or HOCD not show up? You just got to become aware this system, how it functions and malfunctions and it behaves. That awareness, and it doesn't matter when it stops or when it comes, you always know what it is, so it doesn't care. It's like a fly comes, it's a fly. It doesn't matter when it comes. Every time it comes, it's a fly. So it won't bother you. You say, it's a fly. It's not an army of 10,000. It's not going to kill me. It's a fly. I'm going to just swat it or, avoid it or pay no attention to it, do my thing. And every time it comes, okay, fine. I got to do that 10 times. I'll do it 10 times. It's not going to make me to become a fly just because fly showed up. All right. Ipman says, I'm the 14-year-old guy you responded in Instagram. Oh, I see. And I told you that you make sure your parents know that you're coming to this live stream and if you're allowed or not. So that's what I'm saying right here as well. There are videos on the channel that if your parents allow you, you can watch it. There are 2 playlists I have about this topic. But then again, you better talk to your parents and see what they decide. If they want you to see your psychotherapist to help you, that's what you would follow. Because this channel is for people who are at least 18 years old. And if you're here, I would hope that it is with the knowledge of your parents. And Sidesh says, how to stop being in fear, like fear of unknown. Yeah, well, fear of the kind of caliber you're talking about becomes fear when you compare what it was to what it is and what it could be versus what you want it to be. So what it was, maybe it was something you wanted or not, but that's how it was, which obviously you were pleased with it. And what it is, maybe you're happy with what it is, so there is no fear here. But when you compare what it was to what it is, what it could be, there could be fear. Because really, let's say you had a stomach ache last night. You don't have a stomach ache right now, but you wonder if you will have a stomach ache or not tonight. So everything is okay right now. There is no fear. You have no stomach ache. But when you compare how it was last night, you had the pain, and what it is now, you don't have pain. But will I have pain tonight or not? That's when the fear. So comparing to what it was to what it is and what it will be or what it could be is where the fear happens. Otherwise, really, there is no such thing as fear in this context. Yeah, there's a fear of wild animal attacking or a truck about to run you over. Then you jump away. That's not the fear we're talking about. But psychological fear of this kind is when you create this comparison. So the unknown is unknown. I mean, how can you be afraid of something that doesn't even exist? And you saying it's unknown. I do not know. What can you be afraid of what you do not know? But you say, I know what I don't know. I know what I don't know is. That's why I'm afraid of. See, that's what you're saying. You say that what I don't know what the future is, but I know what it will be, even though it hasn't come yet. The future hasn't come yet. But you say what I don't know naturally, which is the future. You say what I don't know, I know that what it is that I call I don't know. Defeats the purpose, doesn't it? If it hasn't come yet, if you don't know, then you don't know what you don't know. What could you be afraid of it? How could you be afraid of something that you don't know? But what you're saying really in your mind is that I know what it is that what I don't know. So you actually give it some image and existence of what has no existence yet. And then you're afraid of that what you gave existence to, which doesn't have any existence. And you're afraid of something that you think exists, but in fact it doesn't exist. So you're afraid of the illusion that you've created. Stop the illusion. Stop the illusion. Just focus on what is real. Reality is now. There's nothing else other than now. The present, this moment exists. And make your best effort on now then you will not have a fear of the unknown. Why? This is why. You're the past. You're here because of from there to here has made you to be who you are. The past, what you've gone through has made you to be here. And the past is modified in the present and projected into the future. So in other words, if you don't make a cut, if you don't make a switch, a change to the continuation of the past as it has been continued, as it has been, because you're the past. If you don't break that cycle, in other words, if you don't make a change to today's behavior is a result of the past. Whatever you are today is the result of the past. If you don't make a change today, then tomorrow will be continuation of the past. But if you break the today, you change your behavior today, then you have stopped the past from progressing. You have made a modification of this, what came from the past, in this moment that you had the chance to make a change, and therefore tomorrow is not a continuation of the past because you made a change today. So if you want your future to be somewhere that you would not be afraid of it, then make the efforts that you need to make today to make the changes that could cause fear in you, which is the result of how you've been and you have been operating, the past. That's why you're afraid of, because you're not sure of how things are going to be because of your behavior and actions of the past, whether your job, your accomplishments, your studies, or whatever it is. Change that, what has brought that fear in you of the unknown. If you change that, then you have stopped the past to project itself into the future because you've modified it by your behavior right this moment in the now. So this change that you made today will be the past of your future. No longer that past would be the same past that will be the past of your future, and your future will not be the same as today because it is not following the past. You changed the past. You modified it. So today will be the past of your future. And because you made a change and the efforts that you made today was based on something that you really want to accomplish and you accomplished it, that would be the past of you in the future. So your tomorrow will be based off your actions today, and your actions today is cut away from how you've been behaving through the past. So therefore today is changed, and today is the past of your future. So your tomorrow will be based on the past, and the past of the tomorrow would be now, and now you have made the modifications to what it always was. Therefore you have quiet information about what the future will be based on the effort you made to the present right now, because you purposely made changes in what the past was, which was about to take you again with the problems that you've been facing to the future. Now you've changed it, so those problems that comes rooted in the past doesn't come with you to the future. It's going to be a new future. I hope you understand what I said, but if you haven't, well, I managed to confuse all of us. So, all right. I think I discussed that before in another video, and we had more time. I think I've clearly explained it to you. Hang on, let me just find that video. I think I have that. Perhaps that will be a better explanation for you. It might have been in I'm not sure if that's the video or not, but I'm gonna put it up, and maybe later on I'll find the one that I'm looking for. But until then, you can see if this is addressing what I was talking about here. All right, maybe not. All right, well, just go into my channel and find, because I'm sure I have a video for it. Pretty much hard not to have a video on almost everything here. Okay, maybe next time I'll find it for you. I will look for it because I don't think I can find it right now when I attend to the other questions here. So, okay. Paul Simmons says, hello, Mehran. Can you address how to deal with groinal response when intrusive images come up and why they happen? Oh, I just explained. That is because you're trying to make sure and you bring your attention to that, and the anxiety of what if comes to the picture, and then there's a certain kind of a sensation or movement, but that's not a sensation toward what you think it is. It's toward the anxiety of that I am actually checking to make sure. That anxiety brings a reaction, a sensation. And that's because you're focused on, oh, I should or shouldn't, I should check to see if there's any response there. And the awareness of it and focus on it, it gives, look, right now, if you close your eyes and bring your thoughts to the tip of your fingers, okay, just do this for me. Bring your hands up and this way, like tips facing the ceiling, like the palm of your hand facing the ceiling. Just drop it on your thighs as you're sitting. Now close your eyes and put your thought at the tip of your fingertips. All of them or any of them. The middle one, or the index. You can see your thoughts are focused on the sensation at the tip of your fingertips. Something that you never felt before, you're feeling it now. Why? Because the brain is focusing on every movement that you usually do not notice. But they're there. The growing, the everything else is already all the time having certain movement on its own. And it's got nothing to do with anything. It's just having its natural movements. But when you focus on it and then you notice it's because of that. No, it's not because it's always been doing that. But because now you're focusing on every single thing about it is going to be felt, and you think it's in association with that, whatever it is that you are questioning. No. And on top of it, the association of sex to you is sex with women, but the word sex has a connotation and association. And to each person could mean differently. But to you, the sex associated with sex with a woman, and that creates that sensation or movement. But because the topic in your mind has been HOCD, you think that sensation or movement is in regards to HOCD or homosexual thought. And then you freak. You say, oh, I had a sensation because of that. No, that wasn't it. You had a sensation to the concept of sex, and to you, that concept involves women. And your system, it automatically works on what it means to you, which is with women. And it makes whatever it is. But then the anxiety of it, oh, I hope it's not that what I don't want to be, that also gives it another movement. It's like when you afraid of something, you do this, right? You pull yourself, that's a sensation, but you're going to say what? That's a movement, but it's a reactive movement. It's a defensive movement. And that defensive movement, that movement based on what you have an anxiety about, is not a movement that you are interpreting. And the other one would be a movement association with the word sex, which to you, which to each person means differently. To you is sex with women and is reacting to that concept. But because the topic was something else, you suddenly go nuts and say, oh, I reacted to that. No, you didn't have a growing reaction to the homosexuality. You had a growing reaction to the concept of sex, which for you is women, and the anxiety of what if I would have, and then defensive, and there is a sensation and movement. And all of that is just because you think about it. And body reacts to thoughts. So it makes some kind of a reaction, and then you're going to interpret it in the way that you are concerned about, and mix them all up and give yourself a label of something, and then you go with the meaning of the label, and then hell breaks loose for you. And Valerie Jacob Smith says, I'm having a hard time at work. Oh yeah, I got your message, dear Valerie. Yeah, let's discuss that. Says, feeling defeated and feeling I'm not catching on quick enough. Well, what are you, a robot? It's the first day of your job, you said. And you want to show. Well, your anxiety is because you want to show how good you are to the others. Otherwise, if you really work inwardly and think inward, says, yeah, I don't care. It's my first day. I'm going to get a hang of it. Give me a couple of weeks. I'll figure it out. But you're rushing to prove yourself to others who know that you're here, and you want to have a certain image, and that image is making you be impatient and making you be frustrated, making you be critical of your performance. And get that image out of here. You don't want to have any image. You just want to learn how this works and understand that it may not work at the first day or second day or first week or second week, but it's going to work out because you're going to get to know it. Mm-hmm. And she says, I had an emotional breakdown today and didn't get any of my work done, feeling defeated. So you're a human being. Huh? But you just shouldn't have given up on thinking. You know what? Why you have the emotional breakdown? Because there was like so much food in front of you, and you said, how am I going to eat all of that? And you stop eating anything at all. Instead of just say, okay, I'm going to eat as much as I can. So there's a ton of food. I'm going to have this much. Tastes good. Yeah, and I'm going to take my time and I'm chewing it well. Yeah, it's pretty good. But when you think, my goodness, how much lasagna or I'm not going to be able to, what is this? I can't do this. Just take a couple of bites and feel good about it and say, okay, take the rest back. So you take a couple of bites and then take a break, says, okay, enough for today. Because if you eat the whole thing, you got to throw up. If you don't eat anything, you got to be hungry. So do a balance. Have a little piece as much as it serves you, and then no need to have a breakdown. Just understand this is too much, and I'm just going to take as much as I need. And I don't care about the rest of it. That's all. But you compare that, I got to have an image, I got to put a good impression. What if they fire me? What if I don't do good? What if I don't learn it? Well, yeah, if you got so much food in front of you, you can't imagine you can finish it all at one sitting. And that's going to make you suffer and be frustrated. But if you say, okay, great, I'm going to have a piece of it right now, and the rest of it I'm going to put in the fridge, and I'm going to have a piece tomorrow, and then within a week I'll finish it. And I have food all the time. So I'll be looking busy. Valerie says, new job and is still in training, but I feel slow. Come on. Like you think the person who's the guy or the gal who's teaching you in the training, they were super girl or Superman? They did it first day just like they're doing it now? Come on. Stop trying to impress people. Just do your best. Impress yourself. You should impress. Yeah, you failed in impressing yourself. I give you that. Huh? But that's what your whole goal should be. You're there to impress yourself. And for that, you take as much as you can. because nobody else is watching. It's only you. And you're going to be careful about how much I can lift, how much I can ride, how much I can eat, how much I can plow, how much I can, work and walk or run, whatever, according to what's your abilities. That's all. Just impress yourself. A little bit more than what I can. That's it. Good job. Instead of that, you said, oh, it's too much, I'm not going to do it. So then you didn't do any of it, and then you blame yourself, oh, I did shitty. Yeah, you did shitty because you didn't focus on how much is okay for you to do. You just said, too much, nothing. Either I should be able to do all of it, or I'm not going to do any of it. Then if you don't do any of it, you feel guilty, you feel sad, you feel like you're defeated. And if you want to do all of it, you say, I can't do all of it, and you get frustrated. Just take what you can. Huh? It's like you just opened up and there was a big mountain of gold there. And people can take what they want. So what are you going to say? Oh, so much gold, I can't take any of it. So you go home and you say, oh shit, I didn't take any of it. I feel stupid. And then if you don't take any and go home, say, well, why didn't I take any of it? I could have taken some. So why don't you just take a couple of pieces, go home, and come back another couple of pieces, and that will make you feel like, okay, I don't have to take the whole thing in order to feel good about it, and I don't have to just give it up because it's so much and I can't take all of it together, but I can take a couple of pieces. I go home, put it there, a couple of pieces. Go home, put it there. That's how you deal with things, and then before you know it, you'll learn it, you know it. And Valerie says, I was meant to catch up online tonight. Today was very hard for me, and I can't sleep. I already feel a bit better. Yeah, because you know what? You shouldn't focus on how much is left to do. Just focus on how much I did. And in your case tonight, not much, but next time, do whatever you can. You know, sometimes when I have to take some online courses and, so shit, I got to take all that. And they were a lot. But you know what? All I focused was bit by bit. I'm not focusing on how much is left, how many chapters, how many, whatever the word is. But I'm just going to do this, and I'm going to learn it well. And when I did that, I said, okay, do you want to do more? I said, yeah, sure. I'll do one more. And I did that, and I learned more. And I said, you want to? I said, no, I just want to have some tea. I'm going to watch something, and then I'm going to come back to it. You see, you got to turn it into a game. It's no different than if you're playing tennis. You just play the set, and it was a good one, hard one, but you enjoyed it. You did as best as you could. And then another friend comes and says, hey, you want to play a set? Well, I do, but I don't. I really, okay, hang on. Let me go have something to eat, and I'll play with you 2 hours from now. No problems. Go have a hamburger or whatever it is you like. You rest, relax, get all those fluids in, and, you feel good, all the nutrients and all that you need. And then 2 hours later, you're fresh. You can have another set, and you'll do a good job at that too. But if you want to have 2, 3, 4, 5 sets right after each other with different people, well, you're not going to do good, and you're going to be feeling like, I did shitty. Why? Because you didn't take care of yourself. So do a module and learn it well, and then if you feel like it, you're up to it, you want to finish the rest of it, do another module, but that's it. Take it, it's at home. Have a cake, have a tea, have some food, cook some food, do some of the things you want to do. You feel relaxed that I did some of my chores, and now, or you just rest, watch a movie, or do nothing. Put your feet up. And then do another module. And before you know it, every module you've done, you learn. Or you may be so enthused, say, oh, I got that, now I want to do the other module. Just, that's how you treat it. That's how I did. And JLK says, sometimes I lock my door 7 times. Yes. You're welcome to the OCD world. And okay, I'm going to show you a trick that you won't have to do that. You know why you do that, right? Because you think maybe I didn't lock it, because you don't remember. Maybe it wasn't locked well, or maybe I should do it more because it didn't click well, and because it didn't feel right. Maybe my relative will die, or something bad will happen, because my brain has accepted the fact that locking this fucking lock has to do with the events of nature. How stupid that it is, but we somehow have fallen to that belief. And when you believe something, you don't look for any evidence. You just believe it. Oh, this must be true. Why? Like any other thing in OCD. A thought shows up, intrusive thought. You somehow think, oh, it showed up, so it's a brain, so I must believe it. It must mean something. Then I don't want this, but I must believe it. No, why? You don't have to believe it. Fuck it. Same thing here. You think if you don't lock it 3 times, it's not balanced. Well, I did 3, maybe I do 4, but now it has to be divided by 3. So I do 5 and 6. Okay, that's good. Is it good? For the sake of sureness, I do another 3, a set of 3. Okay, 7, 8, 9. But you stop it at 7. Okay, that means if you go to 8, you're going to go another 7. So that's going to fuck you up, isn't it? But that's how it works, because you think something bad will happen if you don't do that many times, whatever many time it is. Or you might think that, I don't remember if I really locked it or I didn't. Just let's make sure, because OCD is a making sure disease. So for HOCD, you want to make sure if you're heterosexual, you keep checking, you look at you make sure that I don't have I just got to make sure that I'm not homosexual, because the idea, a suggestion in brain showed up that that I might be gay, or I might be interested in that. So you want to make sure now. It's a making sure. It's a doubting disease. All these subsets of OCD, whatever it is a doubting disease, including turning the lock, locking your door 7 times, because you think maybe I should do it one more time, otherwise something bad will happen. Or I don't remember if it really locked well. Just to be on the safe side, let me go do it again. So this is what you do. This time, first of all, if it's not about I have to do it so many times so nothing bad will happen, well, that's bogus, right? Because if that was the case, the reverse of it would also apply. That means if I do it so many times for something bad wouldn't happen, I can change the parameters. Say if I do it so many times, something good will happen. Or if I do it so many times, I'll have $1 million in the bank. The balance of my bank account will go up. But it doesn't happen, does it? When there are conditions that would need an evidence, it never happens. But the conditions that you set for that action of OCD that doesn't have an evidence, doesn't need an evidence, is fictional, it's illusory, you go for it. Because you say it's like insurance. They sell you insurance. Like there was a guy that I was working at an insurance company at one time, and there was the manager or some guy who was a salesman, or was it? No. I was being interviewed for that job. Or was it? Oh no. This salesman called me up and made an appointment with me. I didn't exactly know what it was. I was very young. And it was an insurance company. So I went there and he tried to sell me an insurance at the end of his discussion. He discussed about so many other things that really was about business or opportunities or this and that, so forth. And then it moved into selling me an insurance. So it started on the fear. What if you go out and you break your legs? What if you go out and a car hits you? You don't have disability insurance. Why don't you buy this just in case that happens? Then by the days that you're in the hospital, you will have this much. All that shit that there is no evidence of that happening, but the fear of possibility of it bringing to your attention, now your whole premise of life is security, physical and psychological security. and it's all fear-based, you're fearing something that you want security. You're fearing that you want everything to be good for you and your family, that you take actions to put a wall around your home, or to make sure your investments are well taken care of, or to, I don't know, wash the pot 5 times so it will be safe, because the fear of you not causing harm for yourself, or fear of something bad not happening, makes you do certain things that you wouldn't normally even pay attention. So the guy bringing to my attention that I might get hit by a car to break my leg, and then what will happen to my income and my job and so on, but he didn't need any evidence of this actually could happen, but the fear and the possibility of it was what was making me to have a gravitation toward maybe buying the insurance. But of course, as hard as it was, I didn't. And I walked out and said, no, it's okay. And the same thing you got to do with this whole business of locking the door 5 times. Whether it's because you're fearful of something bad happens if you don't lock it so many million times, or you think that I should do it so make sure that actually it's pretty much all that. You do it more than once because you don't remember you actually did lock it or not. You're not sure. You know you did something, but you don't remember, so you go and do it again. Or because you're afraid that if you don't, something bad could happen. So if you just say to yourself that, look, if I don't do it, nothing bad will happen because I didn't do it. Because it's stupid to think that turning the lock 5 times will change something good or something bad could have happened to me. That actually puts me in control of the events of life. If that was the case, I would sit down and turn this fucking lock 5 million times a day, and every time I turn it, say, I want $1 million in the bank. I want no harm for those people there. I want to make sure everybody is safe. I want to make sure every hungry person will have food. But we don't do that, do we? Because in reality, in our hearts, we don't fucking believe that turning this lock 5 million times is going to do anything. But it has become our habit. Every time we had an obsession, we had to do the compulsion, which was locking the door 5 times or 7 times or whatever it was. And every time that we had that obsession, we did the compulsion and we felt good. And when we felt good, there was a little dopamine that secreted from our brain. And that gave us the feeling of, oh, something good has happened, because I had the obsession, I did the compulsion, and I feel good, and dopamine is secreted. And after doing this for a while, no longer you're doing the compulsion because of the obsession. You're doing the compulsion because of the dopamine, because you want to feel good. And doing that 7 times makes you feel, I'm satisfied. Okay, good, yeah, everything's going to be good. Okay, yeah. And then you get that dopamine, and feel good. Then now, pretty soon, without you knowing it, and it's not a substance from outside, it's some substance from inside, you're addicted to the dopamine. And lo and behold, when you do it for hundreds of times, no longer you're doing it for the dopamine. You're not doing it for the obsession. You're doing the compulsion, but not for the obsession. You're doing it, you used to do it for dopamine, but no longer you're doing it for dopamine after a few hundred or few thousand times. Because now the dopamine center, which is the reward center, and the goal finding center, and habit center, they're all on the same circuit in the midbrain. So when you keep dopamine, keep charging the dopamine, stimulating the dopamine secretion because of the compulsion, because you feel good and it's been doing that, and soon enough, it becomes your habit. Now no longer you're doing it for dopamine, you're doing it because it's your habit. Now you can see that when you lock the door 7 times, you're not really locking it thinking that something bad or good will happen. You're just doing it because you think you got to do it. It makes you feel good. And it's the habit. I got to do it. I always do it 7 times. I do it 7 times. You can see, and then when it becomes your habit, becomes a little bit more difficult to get rid of this obsession. If you watch Dr. Schwartz's presentation, which was based on the experiment that Dr. Grable and her student at MIT did the experience on rats, it shows you exactly what I just said in more detail, and you can see how OCD compulsion turns into doing the compulsion because of dopamine as an addiction, and then turns into habit, which becomes more difficult to get rid of. That's why you want to break it by tricks like this. You simply take your key out and look at it. Say this: I'm having my key in my hands, and you look at it carefully. See all the teeth at the key, and you put it into the hole of the keyhole. Not the keyhole. The keyhole. The thing. And you focus on that you're pushing it in. And you can feel the click, 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 it's going in. And so you have the image of key you pulled out of your pocket, image of key in your hand, image of the color of the key, image of putting it right at the hole of the key and pushing it in, and you're aware of it, mindful of this action at all time, and then you turn it and hear and record the click that it locked, and now you remember how that you pulled it out and you looked at it and you put it in your pocket, and you look at the lock and you remember what you just did. You do that and you leave. And you will not doubt that I got to come back. I don't know if I did it, because you will remember clearly, because you took time. It was mindful exercise. While you relax about it, and it's going to increase your GABA neurotransmitter because it was a mindful exercise, it also helps you not to redo this for the sake of redoing it because you're used to doing it 7 times. And these sort of things will happen. I have an elaborate discussion about OCD on actually my channel. There's a playlist called OCD. There's a playlist called Intrusive, Transient, OCD, HOCD, Negative Thoughts. And there's a playlist called Intrusive, OCD, HOCD, Short Videos. And many other about thoughts, consciousness, how thoughts is put together. And the one that I'm going to put out tonight, on those short video playlists that I said to you, you guys will find lots of things about the behavior of the brain and thoughts, and you will be at a different level of understanding your psyche. Well, I should cut it through it before I know it. It's about 2.5 hours, and I don't want my voice to carry to annoy my neighbor. Because it's 12 midnight right now. So I'm 65 and 1 day right now. Approaching 1 day. So let's see if I can answer any more question. I got to finish the questions at least. All right. Rocedric Papillon, watch the videos on the playlist that I mentioned and understand the behavior of your brain, and watch Dr. Philipson's videos, which I have the links in the description of my videos on those playlists, and focus on that and understand that these are thoughts, and get a little bit more knowledgeable about that. And perhaps you can reach out to Dr. Philipson and his staff and make an appointment and have a virtual meeting with him to help you out, because obviously unless I have a chance to have a one-on-one discussion to discuss about the videos I've made and the fact that I'm not a psychotherapist, and perhaps the connection with the psychotherapist would help you to understand if you don't want to watch the videos. But I suggest that you can start with that and understand and educate yourself a little bit more, because these are just thoughts. They're not you, they're thoughts, and you got to understand that. Without it, you will be bamboozled and fooled, and you just have all these things. No, no, you haven't changed and you won't change. These are just thoughts. Understand that. Don't be fooled. Just watch those videos, and I'm sure those two playlists are going to be very helpful. And of course, then you can reach psychologists and psychotherapists and so on, and who are specialized in OCD, not just any psychotherapist. All right. Ojikutu Oluwatubi. Okay, I hope I didn't butcher the name. If it's real name or just screen name, I don't know. NVM, I'm out. I don't know. Oh, he says, what are we talking? What are we even talking about? Oh, okay, well, then, if you don't know what we're talking about, then that's not a place for you. So, thank you for stopping by. Ash says, thank you for all that you do, Mehran. I appreciate your wisdom, brother. Have a fantastic day tomorrow with your family. Thank you very much, Ash. Appreciate it. Don't you guys forget about the videos that I'm going to upload perhaps tonight or early tomorrow morning, and watch them and see. I want feedback, and I want to see what you guys understood, and hopefully if you could become more familiar with the function of your brain and kind of opens up your horizon. Abid Polok says, sir, I missed your discussion on my topic due to internet problem. Don't worry, this is recorded, so once it's finished, maybe within a half an hour, an hour, it will be uploaded automatic, and before I put it for members only, I will let it be for everybody. And don't you guys forget that we have membership, so you can join and support the channel if you can. That would be great. And of course, soon we will have more and more of these live talks only for members. So there's a perk there to be a member, and you also get a certain kind of a discount when you have a one-on-one Skype with me, because there's certain membership there that it says once you make a certain appointment, then there's a certain minutes added to it just because you're a member. I think there's such a plan there. Just look it up, make sure it is so, and then be a member, then help the channel. And for 3 months, yeah, it's okay. Don't panic, Rosedric. It's just one of those things that the brain does. You don't have to be fooled by it. Just watch the videos. No, you're not. Yeah, and you still are. Watch those videos. Don't panic. Watch those videos. I've addressed almost everything that you want to know about emotions, feelings, and all the garbage that comes with it, or the behavior of the thoughts and the role of the brain, thoughts, and you, and so on. It gives you enough information to understand that this is just nonsense, irrelevant to you, and that's all. Don't fall for it. Yeah. Okay. So let's see where we are. Who we have here. Yeah. Ipman says, I feel better than then, but it's still annoying. I want to be normal again. Yeah, you will be. You just have to learn. This is your opportunity to learn a little bit more about your brain and how it malfunctions, and know how to deal with it, because these malfunctions of different kinds could come and go. And OCD is something that is not special to you. It's every one of us have some kind of OCD. And sometimes it's this kind of, I've had OCD from childhood. I didn't label it what it is. Okay, I got to do this light 10 times. Otherwise something happens to my parents, or this and that and so forth. All kinds of, I used to have, I used to sit in the bus when I was going to school and do things like this. all foreign to me now, but this like then I had to have this note of it to hit a certain note before I end it, and then maybe I should do one more time. So it was just a crazy thing, all kind of things, and then sometimes I would just turn my head back. It was all from the fear of the unknown, which was you wanted to bring psychological security, and you wanted to bring physical security, you wanted to bring permanence. You wanted to bring permanence to what it was not seem to be permanent. So like your comfort, the love of your family, the happiness that you had, the things that you had, the appreciation that you had, the safety that you had. You wanted to bring permanence. And for that, you would end up dealing with some unknown, just like when thousands of years ago, people would go to their basement and make some kind of a statue out of a clay and come back and color it and put ornaments on and say, this is God. And then they would ask it for harvest and power and health and all that. The bullshit was made in your own basement. But your brain believed in it. Somehow you fell into the glitch of believing the nonsense, and then you behaved according if the nonsense was actually true. Same thing here. OCD has all kind of subsets. One of them is HOCD. The brain somehow thinks that it should believe in that. But it's the brain, it's not you. You don't have to believe what the fuck the brain thinks and believes. You got to separate yourself and understand, okay, that's what it does, and that's the effect of it on my body, but I'm going to be wiser than that. I understand that this is just OCD and treat it as such. So I've got lots of videos for you to take a look. Okay. And Arjan Siva says, happy birthday, sir. Turned 25 today. Oh, you did? You did turn 25? You have the same birthday as I do? Keep inspiring, wishing you good. So I am what? More than 2 times older than you. Almost 3 times. And says, health and life more than 100 years. Wishing you good health and life more than 100 years. You help lots of people. Thank you very much, Arjun. I appreciate that. Very kind of you. All right. Okay. So. Okay. And Kartik says, how to overcome exam fear. Good morning, sir. Good morning, dear. No, that's Papolas Marquis. Remember, guys, we're supposed to have a protocol here. I got to know age, gender, and where you're tuning in from. Because I want to make sure how old you are if you're supposed to be here. I don't want to advise someone who's underage. And I'm not advising here anybody anyhow, by the way. Just let me correct that. I don't want to get in a conversation with someone who is underage. This is a channel for people who are over 18. If you're here, I would like your parents to know about it and have permission to you. So this is what I would hope is the true case. And about the fear of exam, well, just you have no choice. Do your best before the exam, and when you sit at the exam, just relax and don't worry about how more you could do. I should have read this chapter more. I should have done that more. I shouldn't have goofed around much. I should have spent more time. And it's all done. Just do your best now before exam, and when at the exam, just relax. Say, okay, I did what I could. I'm just going to do my best. I'm just going to relax and do my best. And that's all. No more. No worries about what the outcome would be. Separate yourself from the outcome. Detach yourself from the outcome. Just focus on preparation, and when you're there, focus on performance. That's all. Detach yourself from the outcome. No fear, no nothing. Just read the question, and most of the answers are in the question. Look at the question, what it says, and according to what you have prepared and read, figure it out, sort it out, and answer, and don't worry about if it's right or wrong. Just do your best. Do your best now to prepare. Do your best now when you're at the exam. No fear. Look, if you're not there, there's no exam. So the exam should be fearful of you. And you should not be fearful of exam. Exam is a tool. It's not a validation of you. Just do your best. That's good enough. And then go and take the exam the way you want to take it. And Ibman, I responded to you on the videos that that's nonsense what you're saying. Don't worry about anything. HOCD doesn't stop your growth. What the hell are you talking about? So that's all I can tell you. But then the rest of it, go ask your mom and dad, because I'm sure they will be able to guide you, because you're just, worried about something that doesn't exist. No, none of that. I've answered you on the video. I didn't know that you were 14 years old, but the answer is there. Rapola says, you always say when you break up with your ex, she cheated. You say, and she cheated, you say if you did everything that you could, then you can't change it. What if I believe I was not that good of a person to her before? Then, if that's the case, she should have broken up with you, then go with somebody else. Under no circumstances, she should be cheating and you should be feeling the guilt of it. Her cheating is her decision. You having not been as good as you could have been, that's your mistake. But your mistake does not justify her cheating. Her cheating is another story. Your lack of attention or being as good as you could be, it's your problem. It's another story. But one doesn't justify the other. Now, if she had cheated before you were stop being so attentive, okay, we can understand that because that affects that. But if you were not so good as you said you weren't, that doesn't justify a behavior of cheating. If she doesn't, she has the right to choose not to be with you, breaks up with you and goes and finds somebody else. That's perfectly okay. But the fact that she cheated, why should you be the guilty part? Just because you weren't as good as you could have been, or finding some faults in yourself? Why? Because you still like to be with her and you want to justify the shit that she has done, so you're coming up with excuses for her. Or maybe I wasn't as good as her. Well, even if you weren't. If you haven't abused her in any way, shape, or form, then she has no basis of any kind of a cheating. Even if you had abusive, which is frowned upon and definitely not okay at all, but then she would have had the right to, she should have separated from you, broken up with you, and then go and do whatever she wants to do. So the fact that she has cheated, that disqualifies her, and you should just go on with your life and don't give a shit about getting back with someone who cannot be trusted in a committed relationship. As simple as that. Or you're beating yourself up on that. And he says, I'm 26 years old from Lithuania. So, okay, oh, wow, that far. Good. Rosedric, good. You talked to your mom about it? That's good. See, this is how to overcome the effect of these intrusive thoughts have on your body, like anxiety and other negative emotions. When you understand these thoughts are thoughts and they don't have actuality, they're just the feces of the brain, and this is a malfunction of the brain. It's got nothing to do with defining you or your interest, your inclination, nothing. When you understand that, hopefully through the videos that I've put out here and the playlists, Intrusive, OCD, HOCD, short videos. That's a playlist you want to watch. And the other playlist has got a lot to do with the emotions and the behavior of the body and the mind and all that so forth. That's called Intrusive, Transient, OCD, HOCD, Negative Thoughts. Watch them. You'll get a lot about it from it. And of course, there are many doctors and psychologists that the links are underneath the description of those videos and those playlists that I recommend to you. Watch it and educate yourself. And Sagota says, Sagota, male 31, India. Hello, Sagota, how are you? Sagota says, sir, firstly, thank you. I'm blessed to have you as my teacher. My pleasure, Sagota. I have been watching the playlist created by you since last few days, though you told several times to watch them, but I never did in proper way. But now I know how strategically you created them. Can't thank you enough. You're quite welcome. And Sagota says, it helped me so much to tackle my inner battle. Good. Excellent. And Rapolas says, thank you for your answer. My psychologists say I have to forgive myself first to heal and dim trying. Thank you for your words and videos. My pleasure. Delighted that you're on the mending path. All right. Okay, man. Thank you. Bye. Okay, guys. I think I've answered all the questions, and it's now almost 3 hours. Well, this is the longest we've done in a long time, but I'm delighted that you guys were here, keeping me company. At the same time, it's time for me to say, tomorrow at 1 p.m. we will not have a live stream, but I will try to have it at 3 or 3:30 because I have something I have to take care of. And tomorrow night for Pakistan, India, Iran, Australia, Indonesia, and Hong Kong and Philippines and so on, we'll have another live streaming, hopefully by 9 or 9:30, and then it would be next week. Maybe Sunday I'll have another one at 1 p.m. just to catch up with the one that we're going to miss tomorrow at 1 p.m. So it's time for me to say I love you all. Thank you very much for being here and giving me the opportunity to share a thing or two with you. I look forward to talk to you again. In the meantime, be good to yourself and to the others. I'll talk to you soon. Bye for now.